Welcome back, everybody. In today's video, I'm going to show you one of my absolute favorite Monteros. You've heard about this guy in almost every single video I've posted this month. This is Adam, or Toasty Fab's Gen 2.5 Montero that he has solid axle swapped. He's responsible for so much of the fabrication that you guys have seen from other people down in Arizona, and he is one of the pioneers. He's one of the people who started really pushing the limits in this, and most people who have something that they've done that's pretty extreme with their rig can trace it back to something that Adam has designed or thought of. So I hope you guys enjoy this walk around of Adam's solid axle swapped Montero. Sweet, so I'm here with Adam, and Adam is one of the pioneers in the Montero game, and he's got a sassed Montero as well. His is very similar to Kevin's, and you guys have kind of gone back and forth in the way you build them. So I knew I had to check this rig out before I left because it's all over the internet. It's one people have tons of questions about. And so Adam, the first thing I want to ask you is, you usually go by Toasty Fab. Where does that name come from?
That's like welding, you know? Toasty, like sparky, whatever.
And you do a bunch of fabrication. That's your job.
Yeah, I'm actually not toasted at all.
You're not toasted at all, but you do a lot of Toasty Fab work. Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. And so tell me about this. What is this? And we'll start from the front to the back, and we'll just talk about what the heck you've done to it.
This is mostly a 99 Montero. This was the high model, winter package, whatever you want to call it. Got an array of different years, doors, and pieces on it.
Yeah, so why so many different colors? Because I don't think there's a single panel on here that is the original. Is this the original color?
This is the original color. It was the sparkle denim.
Okay.
And when I bought it, it was beautiful. I bought this in 04, 05. I think it was 05. I've had it for a very long time.
Yeah.
It was mint when I got it.
Oh my gosh.
And I paid a lot for it.
So you've had it for almost 20 years. It started off this color. Now you've replaced all the doors. I'm assuming body damage?
This was all recent too, yeah. Okay. I did probably the first 15 years or so of wheeling, and I did the hard trails, did all the things, minimal damage. And after the axle swap, I think I just kind of became reckless.
Yeah.
And so now I'm on no original glass, no original door, no original anything except for this piece.
Except for this panel, and even this one has a little bit of a dent in it.
Yeah, and it'll get repaired.
Yeah.
I'm working on it slowly.
Well, the plan is to paint it someday, right?
Someday.
Yeah, if you ever stop wheeling it.
Yeah, it needs other things before it needs paint. So.
Yeah, well, that's fair. Who needs paint?
Yeah.
All right, let's start at the front and work our way back. So you said it's a 99.
99.
So it's got the blister fenders, and you've done all the fab work on this.
Yes.
And a lot of it was you pioneered it.
Yeah, and a lot of it I've done 2 or 3 times because when I was...
like you've redone it on this rig?
Yeah. I think this is my second set of sliders. This is my first bumper. Second rear bumper.
Well, and you've redone the steering now.
I just redid the steering. I just went to a crossover steering.
Old parts are right here.
Yeah.
So those guys came off. And this is, you said this is the same as what's on Kevin's?
Yeah, it's the exact same setup that's on his. I did his first, and then I did mine. The plan was to do them at the same time, but I've been kind of lax. This has been my daily driver almost the entire time I've owned it.
Which is amazing.
So we're 270-something thousand miles on it now.
Yeah. So and that's all your proprietary, like you made that up, you made the links, there's no kit that you're buying for that.
There's no kit. The only kit was the truss kit from Next Venture, and that's just to go from...
Truss kit on the front of the axle?
Yeah, that's just the SJ Dana 44 to TJ radius arm truss kit.
And do you remember what axle, or what year this axle came out of?
This one was an 82.
82 Wagoneer?
Yeah, Wagoneer.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. And then what do you have as far as axle shafts and knuckles?
Same as Kevin. I've got the Reed Racing knuckles, RCVs, and the metal cloak for the radius arms.
Okay. Sweet. And those have been fairly bomb-proof for you?
Yeah, they've been great. They've been quiet. I didn't break the RCV. It stripped out. I stripped the splines out of it. I have it in the pile over there.
Yeah, of course.
RCV's really cool about it. I sent them a picture, and they sent me a new piece. Actually, they sent me a new CV joint and a shaft.
That works.
So they are really, really good.
That's awesome.
And the reason for the damage was I was running the Wagoneer knuckles, and at full lock turn, I squished the steering stop, which flattened it and let me get
I remember when you did that. Yeah.
And so everybody kept telling me, like, man, your truck steers really, really good. And I was just like, Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And eventually it didn't.
It steered too well.
Yeah, and it actually caused me some extra issues later because now the full lock steer wasn't at the knuckle, it was in the steering gear itself. Oh. And so I ended up shearing a sector shaft off shortly after, like a couple days later on the same trail.
Okay, so you're doing damage in different areas at that point.
Yeah, but now with the new knuckles, there's no adjustable steering stop. They're cast in front and rear, so it cannot do more than it's supposed to.
So yeah, it's playing nice now.
Yeah,
okay.
It is great.
And then what do you have going on as far as coilovers here in the front?
These are 10-inch 2.0 King coilovers, and I have the hydro bumps on there as well.
Okay, yeah, sweet, and that's worked out pretty well for you?
Yeah, that's actually worked out really great. Mine's riding a little bit higher than Kevin's. He has his set up a little bit lower, so he was kind of getting annoyed by the hydro bump contact. They're kind of clicky.
Oh, sure.
Because the contact is hard plastic.
Yeah.
And then I have anti-rock sway bar, which I'm getting ready to set up my disconnect position.
Yeah.
I need a little thing to stick it up there.
That makes sense.
For right now, it's just tucked away. That's actually that's the next thing I'm doing to this.
Okay, and that's just welded up here in the front bumper?
Yeah, I'm going to put a little tab hanging off here. And then,
but I mean the bar itself is welded into
the bar is welded into the front frame horns.
Okay, sorry, that's what I meant.
So it works really good. It's adjustable, and it really makes it behave on road because there's a lot more travel than it had.
Totally, originally. Yeah, that makes sense to me. And then this right here is your custom. It's hard to call it a skid plate when it's so integrated because it comes off the bottom of the frame and it's welded in.
It protects the steering stabilizer and kind of gives me a little thing to push against.
Okay, gotcha. And steering stabilizer is.
It's at my feet.
Okay.
It
would go back here.
Yeah, with the new steering on it, I'm going to drive it around, take it on the highway with no stabilizer to make sure that everything's kosher. And then once I know that there's no death wobble at any speed, steering stabilizer goes on.
Yeah.
That way I'm not hiding anything, I'm just protecting my steering gear with the stabilizer.
Yeah, that's nice. And then what winch do you have in here?
This one is the Warren M8000.
Okay.
This one is really, really old. It's been rebuilt once.
Okay, but it's working well.
It's working well.
And then you've got, that's so thick, 1/4 inch thick.
I think that's like 5/8 or 3.
It's maybe more than that. Sorry, I meant to say 3/8. Yeah, it's
very thick. I put that on my first real fab job, and it was like a piece we had laying around that I got for free.
Okay. Well, and hey, if it works.
It does not need to be that thick. But that's how thick mine is because I was basically a teenager when I did that.
Yeah, because you have it.
Yeah.
And then steering over here, you've got, what's the box for this?
This one is also the 79 Ford F-150 steering gear.
Okay. And then is that the factory arm in the front?
No, that's from WFO.
Okay.
And right now I have it, like you can see it's slightly shimmed. It doesn't need that in there.
That's right here.
Yeah, that was to get me home when I put when I sheared off the sector shaft from my original box.
Yeah.
I put the new box on, and it was my steering coupler where it attaches the steering shaft to the input shaft of the box was rubbing the tower a little bit.
Gotcha.
So to get me home, I shimmed it up.
Out to pull it out,
and
push that in.
I actually just put my new steering shaft on like right before you showed up. So
nice.
Now that can come out.
Yeah, perfect.
Which will be great because it's not into the nylock.
Nice. Sweet. And then what are you running for wheels and tires?
Geolander 37s, MTs, and these wheels are like the cheapest discount tire wheels I could get at the time, $100 a piece.
Nice.
They're made by Level 8.
Okay. Oh yeah, I looked at these for a little bit.
Yeah, they're not on sale anymore.
And then you got a spacer on it as well.
Yeah, it's inch and a half front, and then I have a 2 inch in the rear.
Okay. Sweet.
Hopefully that's all going to go away soon. It's never been an issue for me. It's worked. Obviously, I've used the wheel as a traction aid.
Yeah.
And nothing has broke, but I'd like to just get away from having the spacers on there. If I can, I will.
But you're fitting 37s, and you've got Willwood brakes on there. I saw that.
Yeah.
Which is rad. Very cool. And then these are the same arms as Kevin has. These are TJ
radius arms. The TJ long arms.
Okay. Sweet. And you've got the mount back here for those.
Yeah, that's the replacement cross member. That's kind of where all the magic happens. It just bolts to the truck and hangs all of the suspension off of it.
Sweet. Yeah, that's pretty rad. And then you've got straps up there in the front as well.
Yep.
Nice. And then you're rocking the transfer case. This is the 4-to-1 transfer case?
Yes, I've got the 4-to-1 transfer case. Mine's a little bit set up different than his. He had mentioned he had the 99 2000 XJ tail housing. Mm-hmm. I have the early one, and the issue with that is it leaks.
Okay, that tail housing leaks?
Don't use that one.
Okay.
Because the pulse sensor is slightly different, and you have to space it out to run it in the Montero.
Okay.
And so we learned that
when you did it on his, you did it right.
Yes, and his is right. I have the right one. I have not put it on yet because it's got a stack of washers to put it where it needs to be. And so always get the latest XJ tail housing.
Okay.
Otherwise it leaks. Otherwise I have no oil leaks.
Yeah, it doesn't look like. I mean, it's dry.
It doesn't drip on the ground, but it does make that cross member wet, and it irritates me. So it's all coming out eventually.
Sure.
I also have different drive shafts than he does.
Okay.
I did one better than him, and I have
Nice.
1350s.
Okay. I don't know the difference, but
Bigger U-joint. So these are this rear is a 1-ton drive shaft, and it's actually the Ford 1-ton at the bottom and then Chevy at the top.
yeah, I mean,
And so I have drive flanges. There's no yokes because he broke a yoke, and I was like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And so I got flanges and upgraded shafts.
Okay.
All from Tom Woods. So.
Nice. Excellent. Okay, and in the rear, you've done quite a bit more too. You've got coilovers here, and you've notched the frame.
Yeah.
And then you've also corrected some things.
Yeah, so I moved the wheelbase back to its stock wheelbase because as you lift, you lose wheelbase.
Moves forward.
And with all the lift I have, I corrected the angle of the arm and I corrected the wheelbase.
Okay. So, and you did that right here with these arms. So these are Montero Sport arms that you've converted and lengthened to run a different eyelet.
Yeah, I wanted to have adjustability, and then I wanted to have a heavier duty joint at the frame side. The stock donuts were becoming problematic for me. They were getting chewed up as much travel as everything. And it was just, it's really scary when one of those gets eaten.
That's what I heard. Yeah, that's what Patrick was saying, is it gets real sketchy.
It steers for you.
Oh, that's fun.
So
My Gen 3 does that.
Yeah.
I hate it.
That's bad trailing arm bushings. Anybody who's experienced it knows it's scary.
Yeah,
and this
that's
was
not what you want.
This was actually a temporary solution proof of concept.
Okay.
So I grabbed the sport arms because they bolt on and they're steel.
Yep.
So extending them was no big deal. Extended it to try it, and then long term it'll be a new trailing arm or a 4-link.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, there's always, it seems like no matter what you've done, it's never the last stage.
Yeah,
there's
it's
always
never the last stage.
Okay, so these coilovers, you've moved this quite a bit. So you've got these towers, and they actually go up into the body.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, where Kevin's rocking springs, you've got a whole different thing. And you notched this frame, and then you added this tower. What are these shocks?
These are 12-inch King 2.0s.
Okay, same as the front?
The fronts are 10s.
Fronts are 10s. Okay, so a little more travel. And then when you notch this, can we look inside and see what you did?
If I got keys.
So it's right here, and then you're up here, and this is just this is sound dampening material. So you came
that's just a
all
cover.
the way up into the cab.
Yeah, and those come off so I can access the shock. I need to get like a carpet or something to cover them.
Yeah,
someday.
That makes sense.
Once I need to learn to sew.
Oh, okay.
So that's on my list of things.
Who knew that a Montero would be a sewing project? But that's okay. So that's, I mean, it's just really good to see on the inside. Hey, if you want to run something all the way up in here, that's what it looks like.
It's doable. And the sound deadening on top of it was a bad idea because it's all tarred all over my seats now.
That makes sense.
It melts in the summertime.
Yeah, that's a huge pain. Okay, so back here though, stock axle.
Yeah, this one's the original axle that came with the truck. 490 gears. That's all.
So it's been 4.9 swap and the 4.9 in the front.
488 in the front because of the
488 in the front. Sorry, yeah.
Spicer stuff.
Exactly. So here's a question that I have is, so one, your axle looks pretty immaculate. You've cleaned it. You've switched the panhard bar there. So the panhard bar is up higher.
Yeah, so that's been flipped. That's to kind of correct some of the angle.
But you didn't touch the other side. The other side's...
No, the other side's just stock.
Okay, and then you've got your adjustable panhard bar in there.
And a really cool sticker. That's actually the best mod on the
I
truck.
do see that sticker. I am jealous.
It's holographic. I mean,
I see that. So one question I have, and maybe it's just yeah, I'll just ask it, is why don't you guys trust the rear end? You just don't need it?
you kind of need it on the first gen. They're
Right.
for whatever reason, the spread on the trailing arm mounts twists the axle and breaks it. I've seen it on a couple Gen 2s, but not that many.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, I've thought about trussing mine, but I mean, the fact that you guys are running 37s and you solid axles at front and it's got trusses, but then you're not on this, I mean, they must hold up.
I would truss it if I go to a 4-link. I will build a truss specifically to house the 4-link.
That makes sense.
Because then that way when I do Kevin's in the next one, I just have a piece I put on and we're done.
And you're done. There you go. Okay, and you've raised up the gas tank. Haven't chopped the frame, but you've lifted the gas tank pretty much all the way up.
Yeah, and I kind of wish I had done the frame lift. This was a long time ago. I did this when I first got the truck, just one day before work on a whim. I moved the gas tank up. And so if I had to do it over again, I would do the frame lift, but then I would do also a gas tank lift on top of that.
Gotcha.
I would do the frame lift, probably the whole 3 inches, and then the gas tank all the way up, maybe a ½ inch away from the body.
Gotcha. And you are on a 2-inch body lift here?
Yeah.
Okay, 2-inch body lift. We didn't even talk about the sliders, but those are just some tube work. You
Yeah,
welded it on.
I just made those this second set of sliders.
Yeah, pretty basic, but they do work. And then the rear bumper. I like the rear bumper. So you've done a couple things. One, you've chopped this quarter panel, and then 2, you've corrected it for the body lift.
Yeah.
So you're just coming down here and touching it a few points, and I mean it looks great. It's nice and low profile, and then you're not running a spare tire on the back.
No, I had a really long stretch of never having a spare. Well, I had one flat where I broke off a valve stem, and I borrowed Kevin's tire.
Nice.
But then otherwise, I never had any flats or anything, so I just got accustomed to not running a spare. And then Jamie had asked me, like, isn't this sport really hard on tires? And I was like, no, not at all. Like, I've almost never had an issue. And then I had 3 tires shred.
No.
In one trail.
That's what you get for not having one.
That's what I had a spare that time. I didn't have enough spares, and my spare was 15 years old, so.
Man. And then I do want to know about these. What's up with these taillights?
Oh, these I got from my friend Marco at Luso Overland.
Nice.
And these are from a Chengfeng Laibao Leopard.
So some Chinese knockoff of a Montero?
Yeah, official Chinese.
Official knockoff. Chinese knockoff. They look pretty sweet. I honestly make it look more modern. And
yeah, I like it. And if they break, I can get more easy.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I have one that's shattered on mine.
There's a graveyard of taillights around here.
It happens when you're backing up, for sure. Oh, you got the Pajero Evo grill.
Yeah, this is a replica grill from the Philippines. Paid way too much money for it.
Yeah, but it looks sweet. So I'll give you that.
More than the real thing.
Yeah, and then these are JDM marker lights.
Yep.
Sweet. Where'd you get those?
eBay.
Oh, nice. That's pretty slick.
Yeah, these are real ones.
Those are the real. Those are real. That's not real. This is real.
Yeah, this is Montero Sport diamonds. It's slightly bigger. I call them bubble diamonds. They're cool looking.
That's what I have on my 84.
Oh, I've got. You can't quite tell, but I have sparkle powder coated wiper arms.
Oh wow, that is.
They're dirty, but they do sparkle. They chameleon, change colors.
That's an interesting choice for a modification. But hey, you know, then you've got it.
Matching tire carrier for it too, if I ever decide to run a tire.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Well, dude, thanks for showing me your rig. This thing's been an inspiration for a ton of people. The solid axle swap and the fact that you actually get out and wheel it. It's not a show truck at all. And I know you guys, you and your crew have been like pioneers for a lot of this stuff. And so.
Yeah, it's actually been a little embarrassing going through some of the older trucks because it's like, oh man, I did that when I was really young and still learning how to do the things.
Yeah. Hey, that's how we get where we are, man. You figure it out.
That is how it's done.
Good stuff. So there you guys have it. That concludes my tour of Arizona where I did a rig tour of all of these different Monteros. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know that I did. I learned so much when I was down there. I was so inspired, and hopefully I'll be able to film more videos of more rig reviews, but that'll be for future. The next video I'm going to be posting about my Gen 2.5 that I've been teasing for a little while. I've been working on the background. I'm so excited to share it with you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this series, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.